Hello everyone, this is Hemus. Today we're going to explore the impact of the O-rings on the type feel and the sound of our boards, and as well the possibility of printing custom O-rings on the 3D printer. First of all, I would like to thank Cleric for creating this amazing product and his desire to bring something new to our hobby. Secondly, I would like to clarify that this video is not ultimate true, but rather the author's interpretation of the experience and a personal assessment of the impact of the O-rings to the board. As a test board, today we're gonna have a Frog Mini Leggera G, and we're gonna compare these 6 different O-rings. Before we start, we need to understand what we are comparing, the unit of a measurement. The main parameter is the rigidity of the ring, which is measured in the Shor scale. The Shor scale is the method is measuring the hardness of the materials developed by Albert Shor in the 1920s. Therefore, the higher the rigidity the O-ring, the stiffer mount will be. So, using specific examples, we find out it's very difficult to understand the difference in the sound. The tone of the sound change very slightly, but if you listen closely, the harder the ring, the harder the mount turns out. So we hear a more isolated and noisy sound, and the softer the ring gets, the more muted the sound we get, just like on the gasket mount. What about typing feel? As you know, the default O-ring makes keyboards pretty bouncy, and it becomes very similar to a regular gasket. But the more rigid O-ring you use, the more mount becomes similar to gum O-ring or tray mount. However, the sound is still more pleasant than the tray mount or stiffest O-rings. But what's about problem? Let's talk about them. Usually, a ring mount has unsolved problems. For example, the sandwich falling out of the board when you turning the keyboard over, and the sound is inconsistent depending on the row of the keys you're typing on. As you get closer to the edges, the sound becomes more ringing due to the vibration stuffing to the sides of the case. The O-rings printed on the 3D printer show the idea of printing is interesting, but it requires significant improvements and adjustments. Firstly, they partially solve the problem of the sandwich falling on the board, as the printed O-rings are thicker and stiffer, but they also introduced new issues, increased clearance between the caps and the keyboard body, a more isolated and flat sound, difficulty in the placing the sandwich in the O-ring in the board, and the lack of fixed ring characteristics, which may prevent use this product in some keyboards with a specific mounting requirements, such as Agar 60 by kbdfans. Okay, that's all. Thanks for your watching, and don't forget to check my out other videos on the channel. Bye.